I think I was such a little social butterfly this Anime Expo. I did such a good job. And again, I don't want to brag about myself like I always do, but even at one point, my manager told me, because it was like a big mixer and I said hi to everybody, that I ended up saying hi. My manager told me, you know how many people came up to me to let me know, oh, you said hi to them, and they were so charmed and they thought that it was so nice. Because, as a streamer, I'm sure everybody can imagine, usually streamers kind of stay in their own little group and do their own little stuff. Yeah. Not me. Not at the Vishojo mixer. I wanted to make sure that everybody knew that I was there to socialize. It does mean that I was a little bit tired, but it's a good tired. It was a fulfilling tired. I basically talked to every single manager and staff that we had. At one point, we had a little Korean barbecue with Vishojo staff, and I made sure. So there was one table that kind of ended up being all the guys, and the girls, we ended up being at another table. And I was like, hey, I see you guys so often at cons. I'm going to be with the girls that I don't see very often. I'm going to be with the managers that I don't talk to very often and kind of socialize. And I always try to make a point during conventions where, for example, there was a lot of streamers that I was having a dinner with. Because of that, if I saw them at parties sometimes, I would kind of prioritize talking to people that I wouldn't see very often. Because, hey, like if we're going to lunch tomorrow, I don't need to spend the night talking with you, right?
Right.
So obviously I still have my group. I still spent a lot of my time with Limes and Bricky, and it ended up being Kraken too. But I still kind of tried my best to socialize with others, and but I'm really proud. And I think it was a really, really good convention. I got a lot of really positive feedback from a lot of people. So, good. I'm happy.
Yeah. At least as long as it's fulfilling. I think I feel similarly, where I feel like, so basically with Anime Expo in particular, I'd never look at the schedules and stuff because I'm like, there were so many, like for me, a fulfilling convention is getting the guests like autographs that I want to see and seeing guests that I want to see. But I couldn't really do that for this convention because I was just like, I'm going to be going to my own dinners and my own meetings and my own, I had the concert. So I was just like, I'm just going to not have anything. I made a list of like a few things, which was like, get the Steins Gate vinyl. Go to the Blue Archive booth and get the stuff at the Blue Archive booth that I wanted. And I did both of those. And I was just like, you know what? This is good.
I think most conventions I am the same, where I go for the convention. I go to get prints. I go to see panels. I go to the convention. But at Anime Expo, I was not there for the convention. I was there for the people and the schmoozing.
Yeah. So it was good. I was able to like catch up with some people that I haven't seen in a while and talk with it was hard though. Like,
in what way?
It's hard. Since I wasn't at the mixers and stuff, it was hard going up to a booth and being like, hi, I am this ghost. I'm a VTuber. It's like, it was especially if like there were people around the booth and like a lot of people just kind of hanging out or this and that. And so it was difficult. I'll be honest. Like the networking, I guess, side of it for me at least. But that's just, I think, something. Well, first of all, my intention wasn't even going for Anime Expo. Like I went for the concert, so I was just like, this was just a side thing. This is just an extra thing. No worries. But, it was a learning experience for me, for sure.
I think when it comes to this kind of stuff, this is one of the reasons that I organized a lunch every day. Where in my lunch is usually when I caught up with kind of my core group of friends, or I did business, because that's when you really get to talk to people and meet people. When I was a much smaller streamer, I remember people used to say a lot of the connections that you make, if you want to meet people and make connections at cons, it's usually you meet more people at the business lunch than you do at the business party, right? You could still meet people at parties, but at parties, everybody is tired.
But you have to know the people to get to the lunch.
Yeah. I guess for me,
Yeah. So it was just my experience as, an indie and trying to put myself out there as an indie. So it was tricky.
It is
and
tough.
I mean, it doesn't help that I didn't go to the both mixer.
Yeah,
why I was
again,
invited
and you had an invitation where, it's, I think, how do I say this without it being taken out of context? It's good that you recognize that, right? It's good that you're not being like, oh, it's how do I get to the lunch and the dinner? But it's like you also had an invitation to the mixers. You also had those. So I think when it comes to meeting people at cons and things like that, one of my best advice is usually kind of do it slowly. So something that would happen with because the woman I live inside used to be a much smaller streamer. So what would happen is, let's say she'd be at the Twitch partner booth and it would be somebody that she knew of. She'd come up to them, hey, love the stuff that you do, blah, blah, blah. And then they're at a party. And if they see each other, she would maybe just kind of nod or be like, oh, what drink are you drinking? Cool. Yeah, I'm having a vodka. Like when you're at the bar together, I'm having a vodka soda. And then eventually when you're at a third party together, that person's going to be like, okay, who are you? I see you everywhere. What's your deal? But I always it depends on the vibes, but I definitely feel like when I was a much smaller streamer, I let people come to me. But now that I'm the bigger streamer, I come to people because I feel like it's up to me to break the ice more. It's weird.
See, I feel like it would have been the opposite feeling. Like,
really?
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like before, when you're smaller, you're going up to people trying to get your name out there and introduce yourself. But as a bigger streamer, people would come up to you doing the same, being like, oh.
Well, I guess because I'm a VTuber, not everybody knows that it's me. And sometimes with VTubing, which by the way, people are so respectful. Nobody stopped me on the street or anything. And I've talked about it before that, my flesh woman is a little confused woman. So thank you for not kind of coming up to her on the street if you did maybe even recognize her.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for that. I think for me, it's because I'm an extrovert. So I do feel like, especially if we're at the Vishojo Mixer, right? If we're at the Vishojo Mixer and I will be going up to people and saying, hello, I'm Matara. Nice to meet you. And if they, didn't know, I'd be like, or they'd say, I'd say I'd work with Vishojo, right? But I do like doing that. And I feel I put people at ease when I do that. And then they don't have to worry because I'll introduce myself first.
Yeah. I think as an introvert, I can definitely say that I would appreciate if someone came up to me first. And I mean, first of all, my mind would be thinking a bajillion things. But first it'd be like, oh God, I have to interact. Yeah. Oh God, I have to socialize. And then if you're just like talking and, you're very good at holding a conversation and continuing a conversation.
Thank you.
So, unlike me. So.
Hey, my trick is, how are you enjoying Anime Expo? That's it. You just start with that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what I do at like every meet and greet. I'm just like, how are you enjoying the con? If they don't know what to say. So
it's great. It works. And people love it. And it's a genuine thing that I want to talk about. Like, are you having a good
We just gave away our secret. We just gave away.
I know. I'm so sorry.
If we're like, how are you enjoying the con? They're going to be like, oh, really? That's your icebreaker? You talked about that on the podcast?
Yep. Uh-huh.
We're spilling our secrets.
You're stealing all the secrets. You're stealing all of them.